All right, great. So verse 12, we read, for the word of Elohim is quick. The word of Elohim is powerful. The word of Elohim is sharper than any two-edged sword. The word of Elohim pierces even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and to the joints and marrow, and is discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. What do you gather out of that? The Father's not a respecter of persons, right?
Exactly.
He's not a respecter of Exactly. So that's what I want everybody to get at here, is that under no wise, the works of the flesh will ever make it into the kingdom. It is not going to happen. The Father spoke of a seventh-day rest. There still remaineth a rest for the children of Yashra'al. And what they need to do now is accomplish what they didn't accomplish during the barley season. And again, during the barley season, we had the number 15 to 21. They had 7 days. 7 days to get all of the leaven out of their hearts, and they wasn't able to do it. We're not. Then we see now the significance behind the next festival, which operated in sevens, was the wheat harvest. The wheat harvest, again, brought us the marriage. Just a quick recap. Brought us the marriage. In order for us to get to the marriage, 7 times 7, which gave us 49, one more day, which brings us the first day of the week. The first day of the week represents a new beginning, the 8th day. That 8th day now was supposed to now move us to eternity. The number 8. Now, we have in the first month, during the barley season, the 15th to the 21st being observed. The 15th is a Shabbat, and the 21st is a Shabbat. Let me just put this here, in the first month. This is Pesach. Erase this here. Notice now, in the 7th month, from the 15th to the 21st is what? Because these are both mirroring one another. From the 15th to the 21st is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The 15th is a Shabbat. The 21st is a Shabbat. In the 7th month, during the Feast of Sukkot, is from the 15th to the 21st. The 15th is a Shabbat. When is the next Shabbat in the 7th month during the Feast of Sukkot? Because this right here now represents 7 days. When is the Shabbat during, during the Feast of Sukkot?
7th day.
The 7th day. So the 21st we have as the 7th day.
So would that be, that would be really, I guess, on today, which is the Shabbat. And then I guess that extra day would be Sunday.
Right. So I'm going to ask the sisters. From the 15th to the 21st is when we're supposed to now be observing the Feast of Sukkot. That's 7 days. The 15th is a Shabbat. When is the next Shabbat? 21st?
21st.
The 21st. What if you kept it scriptural, the next Shabbat is the 22nd? It said nothing in Scripture when instructions was given to us that the 21st, the 22nd, the 8th day is Shemini Atzeret. What we're doing now is that you're transcending. This is the number, this represents the number 7. We wasn't able to get it right. From the 15th is the Shabbat. The 21st day, the 21st is not the Shabbat, but this right here now is actually a Shabbat.
Why would that be Shabbat and it not just be the 7th day?
This is the 8th day. This is what we call Simchat Torah, or rejoicing in the Torah. This is Shemini Atzeret, in the way that the Father has it again. You're transcending. We have to move from the physical realm to the spiritual realm. The number 8 now means, Yahusha, she wrote down all the idioms and everything like that for the number 8. So we're talking about contract, forever, eternity, the whole 9 yards. At some point you have to transcend, move now to the next level. There's a natural, which is nothing wrong with it, but there's something that we should be learning from the number 7. But to move into eternity now, we now have an 8-day process. So we have the 15th to the 21st and the 22nd, which is the 8th day, which represents the new beginning. That's a Shabbat, not the 21st. So these two almost mirror one another. So when you begin here, by the time you move here to the Feast of Sukkot, you should have now moved on to the next level, to maturity. At this point, you were a baby. But as you go through each festival here, you're supposed to be growing in maturity. Yes?
So you're saying the first one, the month of barley, is the natural state. And
Right.
then we're moving to the spiritual state, which would add the 8th day because we have ascended to the spiritual world.
Exactly. This is the reason why we went to the book of Galatians. It was we went to the 5th chapter, verses 19 to 21, and then we were at 22 to 23. We wanted to show the difference between the two. And this is the reason why Moray and I have been talking so much about people are still, even after the death and resurrection of the Mashiyach, they're still talking about the literal bread. We have to now transcend above that and now move towards perfection, which is eternity, the number 8.
So let me ask you a question, so I can try to get this. So are you saying that from now, from here out, that what we're supposed to be doing is have a Shabbat every 8th day now?
Oh, no.
Or you just saying just in, right now we're still practicing, right?
Right, we're rehearsing, right? We're trying to move now to that number 8, into the realm of eternity. This is what we're trying to do now. This is the reason why it's so important for us to acknowledge the festivals. The festivals are the Father's plan of salvation. If we can master, or defeat now those characteristics that were just read in the book of Galatians, the 5th chapter, we can now move on to perfection. Because now the lust of the flesh, if you have any of those qualities inside of you, you're not going to be able to make it into the kingdom. That means that I must get along with each and every brother inside of the congregation. We all must be in one accord. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. It's just as easy as that.
So again, let me try to get it. So now what you're saying, not now, but what you're saying is that we've gone through these steps. We started out, as you say, as babies. We've gone through these steps. Once we get to Sukkot, Feast of Sukkot, at that point in time we're married because we passed all the other steps. So now we're married and we're actually into the heavenly realm instead of into this earthly realm that we're in. So we're no longer observing 7 days, but now at that point we'll be observing 8 days. Does that make sense?
According to Scripture, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end.
Okay.
You have in the 7th month, the announcement, Yom Teruah, the blowing of the shofar, the coming of the King. While all this is going on the 10th day, Yom Kippur, we have Israel waiting for the verdict. Whether or not they've actually made it, is their names written in the book. After that, they have 5 days of preparation, which moves them down to the 15th. But the 15th to the 21st is going to be very important because that's the Feast of Sukkot. We have now the bride and the groom tabernacling together. But what's important now about the 10th month is that the shofar is blown in the 7th month, the 10th day, making the announcement of the Jubilee. Watch this again. It gets real interesting. The Jubilee is the same year. 7 times 7 is 49. After that, you're supposed to let the land rest. But, excuse me, 7 times 7 is 49. The next year, the 50th year, is the Jubilee. That's when the captives are set free. So even with Jubilee, you're working with 7 times 7, but you need to transcend and go higher than the 7s and move into another day, which represents 8, and the number 8 represents eternity. You see how this is working? Okay. It has to be done. We can't have any malice. I mean, absolutely none in order for the body to function. I must, again, be able to get along with every brother and sister. Every brother and sister. I mean, we have to take off the hats. You know what? Akeem, listen, you know what? I need for you to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm a Maury. I can't do that. That's not how the body works. Everybody must come together collectively. If you need something done, you need something done. Whatever the case like that might be, we must stick together as a family. I sent you the message. I said, listen, if there's anything that you girls need or whatever like that, let me know because you wasn't there. So somebody has to always stand guard and make sure that the camp is always protected. We must work together as a body. Very important. Because if not, we might have a problem. Zabu, we have 2 more scriptures, Mr. Khan, then we'll be done. We do the rest a little bit later. Ezekiel, the 20th chapter. You can't have the malice. Well, the Father understands my personal situation because you know what? He did this and she did that, blah, 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 stuff like that. Listen, I can only speak for myself. I've been doing this walk now for 25 years. At some point, I should have already forgiven you. How much longer am I going to hold this grudge? I have to now transcend. If I don't transcend, I can't move into this realm of eternity. I can't. I don't care who it is. We must move on. If not, there's going to be a problem. If we can get Zabu. Let's read that, please. Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, 20, 33 to 38. Read it real slow and loud, please.
Okay, Ezekiel 20, 33 to 38. As I live, saith Yahuah Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will rule over you.
I will rule over you. All right? That's a definite. As I live, saith the Father of Yahuah, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. Read on.
And I will bring you out from the people.
That's very important. I'm going to bring you out of the people, from the people. Read on.
And will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out.
So what do you get from verse 34?
First of all, they're not going to want to let us go. Just like
Yeah, but we,
of Egypt.
right, exactly.
And he's gonna destroy them. The same thing he did to the Egyptians to get us up out of there.
Right. So I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you were scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. When do you believe this is going to happen? Remember, everything is based upon the festivals. The Jubilee, that's when the captives are set free. read down here a little bit. We're going to speed it up. And I will bring you out into the wilderness. The word wilderness is very important. Anybody know what the Hebrew word for wilderness is? We all know it. Exactly. Midbar. Adding and dropping letters. If we was to add a bet to that, Bat Midbar. Bat Midbar is what? Book of Numbers. All right, so we got some scholars here. Hallelujah. And I will, verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. The Hebrew word, we have the word plead. It means to judge, to govern, to vindicate, to punish. That's the call stem definition. To act as a lawgiver or judge or governor. To rule, to govern, to judge. To decide controversy. To execute judgment. To vindicate. The Nafal system's definition. To enter into controversy, to plead. To have controversy together, to be a judge. In the Strong's definition, quickly, a primitive root to judge, that is to pronounce a sentence for or against. For or against now, by implication to vindicate or punish. So we pretty much get the idea. And there will I plead with you face to face, as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness, so as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Father of Yahuah. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. That word covenant is very important because we're talking about an agreement. And what type of covenant did the Father make with the nation of Yashra'al? A blood covenant, right? A blood covenant. A blood covenant. So a blood covenant can't be broken. And right now we're under the, are we under the book of the law, or are we under? Under the law, or are we under the covenant? The covenant the Father made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or the Levitical priesthood? Which one?
The priesthood.
Levitical priesthood?
Book of the covenant.
Okay, we said the book of the covenant, the Abraham covenant.
Can you say that question again?
Which covenant are we under? Are we under the Levitical priesthood? Or the Abraham covenant? Which one are we under?
I'd say the Abraham covenant.
Right, hallelujah. So everybody's been paying attention to Maureen's lesson. Okay. Now, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, because we need to know which one. And I will purge out from among you the rebels. This is all going to happen in the wilderness. I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yashra'al. So we will all be delivered. We're going to be taken into the wilderness. Well, wilderness, but are we all going to make it into the promised land? There's going to be a purging.
So you're saying all of Israel should come up out of here?
All of them, as it was.
2/3 were going to die out there in the desert, pretty much.
And yeah, as it was in the beginning, so should it be in the end. So all of Israel, okay, was taken out of Egypt, every single last one of them. All right? I have a promise that I must keep that I made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? I'm going to bring you out. I'm going to bring you out through the festivals, the barley. You can't have any leaven. You must transcend from the number 7 to the number 8. So by the time the wedding comes now, you should be all ready. But when Israel now, we got to the wedding, we still had leaven in us. We never transcended. Never. So all of us are going to come out, but not all of us are going to now make it into the bridal chamber. Not all of us. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they should not enter into the land of Yashra'al. And you should know that I am Yahuah thy Elohim. And what I'm going to do there, I'm going to stop and I'll finish in the rest of the lesson maybe tomorrow or next week. So that's what I just wanted to share with the Mishpachah so far, and that it still remaineth a rest for the nation of Yashra'al. This number 8 is very important because it's talking about eternity. The number 7, we see the Father completed all of his works in the 7th day. But there's something else that must happen. We must have New Jerusalem. So the number 8 represents eternity. Shemini Atzeret means the 8th day. Simchat Torah, rejoicing in the Torah. And if we were doing Torah portions I give you the basic understanding of what's going on basically in the first 5 books. And what they do now is that if you started this in the beginning of the year, by the time Shemini Atzeret came, we should now be all rejoicing in the Torah because we have a basic understanding of the first 5 books. So that's what, he's been doing a lot of that Torah portions where you go through Genesis and you learn each one of the Hebrew words. And by the time you get to like Genesis, like the 14th chapter, if you can remember the first 14 words and the 14 chapters, you can pretty much read the whole Bible, or the first 5 books in Hebrew, easily. And then you get your certificate, Simchat Torah, Hallelujah, you moved on to the next level. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Everybody's told me,
You was kind of the first festival, was you kind of Pesach with that, with unleavened bread?
Pesach. We have, on the 14th, was a preparation, is when a lamb is killed on the 14th, and you actually eat the lamb with unleavened bread on the 15th. That's the lamb and the unleavened bread. Some people look at it as one. There are some Jewish people, what they do is looking at the 14th as a set-apart day, and I do understand that the 14th being a set-apart day because you actually now have the killing of the lamb, and before you have unleavened bread, the lamb has to be slaughtered first. But you don't eat unleavened bread on the 14th. You eat unleavened bread on the 15th, from the 15th to the 21st. But the whole event, all of this is called Pesach.
Also kind of unleavened bread. So
but the reason why I'm breaking it down this way, because on the 14th, you're actually killing the lamb. And on the 15th to the 21st, you're eating unleavened bread. So you're not eating unleavened bread on the 14th because you have to kill the lamb first. Then you can eat the lamb with unleavened bread. So you're not eating unleavened bread on the 14th, only on the 15th. But you're eating the lamb with the bread.
Yeah, but so it's interesting because that means that we will still be able to sing while we're in that desert. Because all of us still got all of this. He needs to pull us back together as one nation.
Yeah, it talks about rebels and those that transgress against me.
Wow.
So there's going to still be problems and issues, even after, again, the great